Hello Facebook, this is Kelly Love, Cincinnati, Ohio, Zone 6 again. I am in the process of building a cattle panel style greenhouse, hoop house, cold frame. It's got so many different names for these things, but we're using wood and cattle panels and plastic. So it's gonna be one of them kind of places I can keep my plants warm. So anyway, kind of winging it. I am not by any means any kind of professional carpenter. I'm not Bob the Builder. I'm just winging it from what I know. Of course, I've done things in the past. I have worked with contractors, and I did help build some bedrooms in the basement with my dad years ago. I was so happy to have that experience. But right now, in the process of just kind of fortifying this thing and getting my panels up. So it was a struggle, but we got them up. We still have to reinforce and nail in a couple extra areas out here. We tried using them what you call them, U-nails, whatever, like staples, long staples. They didn't work. They didn't stay in, so we needed screws to stay in that wood. So we got some little fittings to help hold them in place. That helped a great deal. So I'm gonna put several of those around it, and we still got to frame up the door. Probably make my own door, because I'm not sure how good I'm gonna be at measuring to buy a door that's gonna actually fit. So right now we just gotta kind of get all the panels connected, and then once we frame it, it'll straighten out the hoop a little bit, because it's a little lopsided, but it'll come together once we frame out the window and the door part. So right now I'm gonna be cutting down the extra tall pieces of wood. I'm gonna cut those down. I just put those on to support the sides as we were putting the panels and stuff on. So I'll probably cut all those down, and that's what I'm doing right now. Taking a break. I still need to attach some more with the zip ties, but I'm just taking a break because we've been out here fooling with this, and no blueprint, no kind of formal instruction. Just got some wood, put it together. I know how to put something together and make it stable, so just throwing it together and trying to get it done before the end of this month, which I'm sure we will, so that I can get my plants in that I want to hang on to, and I can do some seedlings out here instead of getting my garage all nasty and dirty like I usually do and wet. It just be a hot mess, so we ain't gonna do that this year. So I'm almost there. I don't think it's gonna be too hard framing up the door and the window. I actually have some screens that my neighbor had that belonged to this house before we moved here, and he happened to get those to me a couple years ago. So I'm probably just gonna frame out those screens and use that for some ventilation, and then figure out how to make a frame to cover it up with some plastic. So right now, the garden, I got sunflowers. I had to brace my sunflower. Poor baby was leaning down. It was sad. So I took a little piece of scrap wood just to temporarily get my sunflower up. I don't know why it's not standing up, but anyway, I have sunflowers for the first time in my life in my own garden, and I love them. I'm gonna do some more of these again. I just threw in this aloe to just kind of fill in my little crazy plants. My plants actually did well, but the heat cooked some of my limelight. Well, no, the bow, what's that? That's the bobo. The bobo here, that's the limelight prime. You guys seen how crunchy that thing was. That thing was crunchier than granola earlier this summer. But it popped back out. I pulled all the leaves out. They literally fell out, but they grew back. This here, the sun was so hot, but it's still alive, so it'll do better next year. So I ain't worried about it being brown. Oh well, it's brown, I don't care. Anyway, that's a limelight prime there. This was one of two that was in one pot. This pot had this plant and that plant, and I just divided them, and they struggled in that heat, because I planted everything in the super hot heat of the summer, and all of everything in here is new to this bed. This used to be my banana row right here, and I took the bananas out and moved the bananas to the back. So I'm going to finish tweaking this. I got to get more bricks to do a double layer of a brick wall, whatever you want to call it. My voice is a little raspy because I've been sweating and in the cold and air and all that stuff. But it's a beautiful day today. It's nice and cool, but it's sunny. The sun is very hot, but it's nice and cool. It feels great. So right now, That's what my plants are doing, but they are alive. That's all that matters to me. This year they are alive. Next year they will look better and they will fill in more, and I'll be grateful. So I'm gonna do more bricks. I put down some fabric to keep the weeds down because I couldn't keep up with all the weeds and all the stuff I got going on in my yard. So I put fabric down so that I could walk here until we decide to create a sidewalk or some type of cobblestone handmade walkway. That's what we're working on. We've been cutting the grass high, not cutting it too much to keep it from browning out. This is my limelight. It has such huge blooms that the the branches weren't strong enough to hold it up. But it's alive, and they were beautiful, and some are still blooming in certain places. So I'm gonna figure out how to stake it up. I got so much going on, I just couldn't tackle everything at one time. My tiger eye sumac is growing babies out here, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with them. I might let them grow and dig them out, see if I can just get some new plants to maybe stick in the back. So I have weeds to pluck, and yes, I have been on the weeds, but these weeds have been wearing me out. And this is a little in the middle here. These two arborvitaes, which I had in pots originally, I mentioned on other videos. They're doing awesome, all of them, even one back there. There's one way in the back that's shorter than these. It almost died. It almost browned 3/4 of the way out, but I put some Milorganite in the pot and watered it well, and it came completely back, and it is totally green. There's not a drop of brown on it, and it's doing great. It's just not as tall, but it's still great. So I stuck it in the ground in the back. This is a Little Devil 9-bark. I really like this one. My other 9-bark, the summer wine, it didn't do great, and it flopped. It was alive, but it flopped, so I dug it out. Well, actually, my aunt came and dug it out. And but I like this one. 9-barks are nice. I'm just not a fan of them little flower heads. I'm not really a fan of those, but I do like the plant. So it's fine, and I hope I spaced this out well enough. I don't know, we'll see in time. But I try to space it out pretty decent, so I don't know. But I like it, it's cool. I'm just trying to do a bed where I don't have like a whole bunch of crazy stuff going on and keeping it simple. But I still got an edge around the other side, the back side of this a little more to straighten it out and get some more preen down. Eventually, I may put a weed barrier liner on top of that and get some mulch on it to keep things from going in there, because I don't want to overdo it here in those spots anyway. This here is one of my first beds I put together when I moved here. It was way smaller. This thing's about 10 times bigger than the other one, but Sumac's here. A few weeds in there. It's not as bad as it used to be. Some pea hamlin, dwarf grass. These are the baptisia. These are the false indigo. It's 2 of those. I think I'm going to take one out, move it someplace else, and just leave one in here. I don't know why it's flopping. It's flopping in here. I don't know. I don't get why, but I don't know. We'll see what happens next spring. Maybe I had to move it, but I do like it, so I don't want to do too much more to this either. I don't want a bunch of stuff, but I do want to put some in this gap here, right in there. I want to fill it in. That's where my 9-bark was sitting. Another pea hamlin, tiger eye sumac. That one on the end is growing some little babies too. I'm gonna have to see what I'm gonna do about them. And this is the Denim and lace sage here, Russian sage. I like it, but I don't know what's happening with that one because I put them in the same size at the same time. It's always something. It's always one plant that just don't want to act right. I always got to be doing something different. But anyway, I got to do some weeding here. It don't make no difference how much I weed. It's always something, and Lord knows that weed killing stuff is so expensive. But I want to find something else in there to replace that 9-bark that I had in there. It was nice when it was standing up, but it just started laying on the ground, and I didn't like that, so I just had to get rid of it. So I'm gonna figure out what else is gonna go in here. I might even put liner on this eventually too, because I don't want a whole bunch of plants in there and have to deal with too much in these areas. I want to keep it neat. It's easier to take care of the ones in the front of the house that people see first than to have a whole bunch of stuff I got to keep tackling constantly. So anyway, I'm gonna figure it out. I don't know yet. Sometimes I just don't know. I don't know. You'll hear me say that a lot. Sometimes I just don't know. This bed here, I need to redo this whole bed, the brickwork. But the plants, I did this all new this year. And I have the Liriope. Some of those are Millennial Alliums. The other one I think is some other type of, I forget the other name, but there's another type of allium in there too. And I believe it's that one, because it's a totally different green than the rest of these. These are all the same except for that one. I bought them out at the same time, but I got it anyway, even though it was different, because I just wanted a whole drift of alliums. And then I got those variegated irises, and this is a hibiscus. I wanted something to fill in this little spot right here, because I didn't want to put a zillion flowers in there. So this filled in real nice, and it did well in this spot. And I think this is some type of hardy hibiscus. When I bought it, it didn't have a name at all, but I like the flowers. That's dying. I don't know if there's any more blooms left in here or not, but it did really well. And I like the foliage anyway, so flowers or no flowers, I still like it. I'm gonna let that stay. I got weeds. Got enough to go around for everybody. Weeds. So I'm gonna see what else I'm gonna do, but I plan on cutting this off at the edge of the house right here and closing the bed and the curve right around at the edge. That's why I didn't plant on that end. I just kind of kept the plants in here because I want to change this, but right now I have so much going on I can't get to this yet, but I'll get there eventually. So I need to put some manure on this before it gets cold. Add another little layer of manure in here and get the weeds out. Oh, there's some type of sedum in here. This one it gets really red. I don't remember the name. Stuff be right on the tip of my tongue and I can't think of it. It's got tiny little flowers coming in, but it turns red. But this one struggled. I had two of these, one on each side of this bed last year, but only that one came up this year, so I just stuck it in the center until I figure out where I wanted to go. And polo flowers, I had to neglect them and dump it out. I think I want to put a better soil in those spots, and I maybe want bigger pots hanging up there next time, because it's kind of hard with all that I'm doing right now to keep up. But I had some petunias in there and super petunias and yellow and purple, but it looked like they done gone to heaven. I had to dump them out soon. It's almost that time anyway. I'm sorry, flowers, I'm sorry. Anyway, these pots used to have banana trees in them, and I had to get them out. I put something else in there, I don't know what. This area here was cleaned up by myself and my auntie, who likes to help. She helped me get all the weeds. I've been keeping mulch on this until I can create a sidewalk. I want to do a sidewalk here to meet that piece that's going up and down there and across from that there. So that's future plans, but I can't get all that because I ain't got that kind of money yet or time. And I don't want to pay everybody to do stuff I can do myself, because people charging too much nowadays. Anyway, I need to do something with this, so it's a pretty decent soil. Just had a banana tree in it, so I'm gonna mix it, recycle that with some new stuff. This one of my arborvitaes is doing great, and my neighbor's flowers. And these are pots, just miscellaneous stuff. I didn't really put like a great effort in these. I just put something in them just to have some color. And I have pruned them down. I may give them another haircut and see if they blush out again, maybe a couple weeks. I may trim that down again. These have some bee balm and some super petunia lattes and some silver files and some creeping jenny in there, but it's just to save the plants. I want to make some spectacular pots, but I didn't have time, so I just plopped some stuff in there and just let it do what it do. Pepper branches keep breaking off. I had tons of peppers on here. I've given a lot away. I have frozen some, but the branches keep breaking because they're so heavy, and we keep having a lot of windy weather going on, and I'm gonna take the rest of them off. My green peppers, I've been eating those and giving them away, and been doing pretty good. I had a whole bunch of them on here, and I've cooked with about 10 of them, given away about 7 to 8 of them already, and still some more on here growing. I ate some before, now still some more over here. They're getting pretty big. It's hard to get to them with one hand, but anyway, I ain't do too bad growing. But I'm happy that I finally decided to go ahead and start doing this greenhouse because I need it. Once I wrap it up, I'm gonna clean this floor up first. I had a couple dapper willows that I had to just cut down here because they were growing out of control. And once those things have been in the ground for many years, unless you get a stump grinder, you can't get these things out. So one of them here, I took the saw and cut it down and trying to get rid of it because this stuff grows vigorously. And I mean, it is, you cut it down and you look up the next day, you get stuff coming out. I still have to cut the rest of this stump down so that can stop growing, so I can level all this out inside of here, because I'm gonna just put some weed barrier. So I'm gonna get some soil and I'm gonna level the dirt out as best I can by hand, fill in the spots, and then put some weed barrier all in here. I didn't do it first because I just wanted to go ahead and get started getting this greenhouse built so I can have it ready in time before it gets cold. I'm happy that I started it because I need it really bad. I get tired of making a mess in the house. These are my marigolds. They're getting so big, the rain and weather has split them. This just happened last night. They were standing up just great, but this wind back here is something else. All the banana are going to go back here. I've got elephant ears I put in here this year. First time ever growing elephant ears. First time ever growing marigolds, and I like them. I didn't like them before, but I like them. So, and of course I use them with the vegetables and things. This area over here, I just use this broken fountain to just pop some little succulent type stuff in. And then a couple different little sedums. And these were all little babies in the beginning of the year, and they grew so fast, and they're splitting already because of all this rain. Sorry for the junk. The foil just blew off of my grill over here. I promise I'm not a slob. I'm just busy, stuff going on. But anyway, I love those. Just pop this lotion. There's a couple different types of sedums in there. I got some of that raspberry something back there, and this one is some other kind. I don't even remember the names of right now. I'm sorry, y'all. Sometimes I do so much, I be so tired. And it's up there in my brain. It's up there, but I just can't always get it out when I'm tired. And I decided to go ahead and do this video before all my plants lose all of their blooms. That's a yarrow. It has some nice yellow flowers on it, but I didn't really prune it, and I didn't really bother with these because I'm gonna move this and one that I have on this other side. This one is a little uneven because I started cutting it off and I didn't finish some of it, so it's growing real random and crazy. Anyway, here's another yarrow, yellow yarrow. What they call it, sunshine something yarrow. I got a root ball for a banana tree in there. I'm just kind of keeping it alive until I figure out where it's going. I'm a little random right now, y'all. No organization today. I'm just trying to get the video in before I forget about it and some of the stuff die out and I can't show it. So anyway, Japanese bloodgrass and some more weeds. Can't have a video without weeds. There we go. Banana trees, I put one in here and there are several growing around it. And I'm just gonna chop them down to the ground. And I have made a video about how to take care of winterizing the banana trees. And I'm just gonna chop them down to the ground and just mulch over everything. And these elephant ears, I think I may pot them and take them in the house because I'm not certain that they're gonna survive here in my zone where I'm at. So I'm gonna just take it out and pot it. Over here, I got some Spanish lavender I need to move. I'll probably pot those and put them in the greenhouse because this is the first year putting these in the ground. Not really sure how they're gonna do because sometimes we can get really cold and get a lot of snow here, but we'll see. And there's some random banana trees, the seeds just fall and they grow wherever. So I got a couple random. I got a can of banana red. Random seed came up there and it's growing. And this green one here, I don't even know which one it is, if it's red or yellow flower. Some of them even come out kind of an orange color, but I'm not sure because I don't even know where the seed fell, where it came from. So it's another view of my little greenhouse putting together. This is the 10 by 16, and I'm just gonna saw those tall boards down that's in there, saw them down, and then frame up a window back here. And the door is going to be on the other end towards that way, towards the street, so I can come off the deck over here and just go straight in there and do what I have to do. And I have a window back here. This back here is all going to be vegetable garden area with raised beds. I will pop a few over here right in front, so many feet from the front of this greenhouse. So I'm going to do vegetables there because this is the best sun in this area here. And I'll probably later on, once that grows in well, I might sneak some herbs and stuff in on the brick bed up there, and maybe slide some stuff out here in certain areas in some pots or something. But I'm not going to do anything in the ground because I'm not really sure what's happening in my soil, so I'd rather put everything in containers, and I know that I'm giving them some good stuff and we don't have no foolishness going on. I want to be healthy, not kill somebody planting something that's poison in the ground. So this is going to be raised beds or pots or something, some type of arrangement. And eventually I'm going to pole it around the edges, like square it off, and put some lights, some string lights around this. So probably starting back here behind this on each side of that, and then over here on these corners, and do some string lights across this area, across here, like a patio setup, and have all my little beds and stuff in there. And this is some of my junk. I'm getting ready to build a compost bin with some pallets back there. I got a few pallets I'm gonna nail together and create a compost spot back here out the way. That's my picnic table. And these are some random pallets I may use to stack some on that's needed. Maybe some products or something I have that I need to stack outside. I don't know, we'll figure it out. This is just some yard debris and cuttings, and I'll figure out. I'll probably chop these up and get these in a compost bin as well. Let it all break down. Shade garden. Shade garden needs a little tweaking, but I put all my plants in that I could stick in the ground so far just to keep them alive. Next year it's going to be a whole lot better than this, but it's just nice to know that I'm able to get so much done. And it's different from the last time I show videos. Every video I always do something. It's always something added. So I need to get these some water because my poor little what you call these things here, I can't get the name out, but in Persian shield, I need to give them some water. He's a little droopy, but I try not to water this too much, but I guess the rain didn't hit this spot. But I got to clean this a bit and rearrange some of these, and of course add things in time, not just yet. I got plants I need to put in pots to save them. That's like a scrap plant pot. That's something that somebody threw over here cleaning the yard up a few years ago. I said, don't throw it in the yard because it's going to grow. Well, guess what they did? You see that? Okay. Anyway, we got some spare stuff in here that I need to repot individually. It's several pieces of hosta and some pieces of this canna. And then I've got a azalea there, encore azalea, and I need to figure out where it's going. But based on how this yard is set up in the shade and everything else, I need to make sure it's in the right spot and has plenty of room. So trying not to overcrowd things, but some stuff I kind of stick in places just to keep it living. Got some elephant ears in here, some, what you call that stuff, lungwort, it's blue. I ain't want to put it in the ground because I know it's invasive, so I kept it in a pot. My aunt dug it out her yard and gave it to me, but I refuse to put it in the ground here. Some caladiums, I'll probably pot those up and put those in the greenhouse too. And if they die, I'll just put them, just keep the bulbs and replant them. But I had a lot more, but I have animals that keep coming in my yard, eating everything up. They were chomping on some of my hosta, digging underground, eating the roots out of my plants. They ate up a bunch of my caladium from underground and actually had totally uprooted them where I had to repot, and I lost several of the colors and types that were in there. So it's a little bare because the animals are running through here eating my stuff underground. But over here, my poor little, what you call this thing, a casillas, whatever this is, it didn't have roots. I bought it discount and it was doing fine at first, but when I finally decided to take a closer look at the root ball, I discovered it had too much of that fabric. It had some of that burlap stuff under it and some type of roping, and it didn't have any roots directly under it at all. So I was surprised it made it as long as it did, but I had this probably 4 4 years now, and it is dying, but I'm gonna just leave it there till next spring. Who knows, it could miraculously recover, and it don't look all that great, but I'm gonna just leave it to next spring because I'm so tired of digging and planting and pulling and just doing too much. Another azalea, I just put it in here temporarily with some dapple willow cuttings that have become some shrubs in this pot. And I don't know what I'm gonna do with them because I'm scared to plant those until I know exactly for sure where it's going, because the root system and growth on this thing is a monster. Back here I have some thuya baby trees. I have about 24 of them, and I need to repot all of these in some bigger pots and just let them keep growing until they're big enough to do something with them. Some I bought online, and the others I cut off of trees that I bought from the big box store, and they're doing great. Pinky Winkies in the back. I have a sky pencil holly. It's doing great. And I have 4 different hibiscus here. I have a summer in paradise here. I had this last year. I have starry night here. I like the little pink and white little blooms. And this is a midnight marvel. That is so pretty. I love that shade of red. I love it. And this is the very awesome. I like this one too. This had a whole bunch of blooms all at one time. So first time ever, first time planting hibiscus bare root, which are these 3, very awesome, midnight marvel and starry night. This one I got last year right before I went on vacation to Myrtle Beach and come back. My daughter had given my plants only 2 cups of water each, and it was crunchy. It was so crunchy. It was like Pringles, just crunchy. Anyway, that's my little arborvitae over here that almost died. 3/4 of that was a rusty reddish brown. And I use my Milorganite. So if you have some things that are dying and you're not sure, and your fertilizers or whatever don't seem to be working, try some Milorganite. And I got a heavy hand, so when I use products, I kind of overdo it, and I use things. I'm extra. I'm always extra. So I always put a little extra, and I just watered it, and it bounced back. There's no brown except for the branches on this tree. This thing, I thought it was a goner. I thought I was going to throw it away. I said, now let me see. And I put that in the pot. I threw a few handfuls of Milorganite in the pot and watered it real good. And this is the end result. It's even doing some growth at the top, which it had stopped way down here. But it's got some growth this year at the top. So it did great. These were looking better earlier, but after a while, after doing so much stuff, I didn't keep doing any fertilizing on this. And the heat was something else this year, but they're still okay. I'm still okay with that. And this was a pot I put together trying to do something nice, and I kind of like how that turned out. Now I got some silver files on here, but I just put them up to keep from cutting them with the grass. So I got a few bunches that come down. It turned out real nice. And I got that Tropicana original in there, and those coleus, I can't remember the name of that, but it's just the ones that come out real dark purple. And I don't water, I try not to water this too much, but this could be overwatered right now, but it's did pretty good. And I just got tired of cutting the flowers out, so I just let the go ahead and just get the flowers and go to seed. So I'm gonna cut some of that off and grow some more, but I'm also gonna take those plants out, repot them, and put them in my greenhouse when I'm done. And I'll put some of this blood leaf in the back. Had no idea it would get huge like that. I'll see if I can keep any of that growing. I'm not really sure because it's my very first time with this plant here. But I like the color. And I like that it's so different. The little round leaves is different. And this pot is so huge. I need to take this stuff out so I can get some dirt out and move this pot, because I put it here and planted it up before I really knew what I was going to do with it. I had it in this garden and I moved it since I decided to put all those hibiscus in here. And I still haven't figured out what else is going here. I wanted to see how big these things get and look at it well before I start piling a bunch of stuff in it. But I want more flowers in here. and some short and some tall. But I haven't decided yet. I gotta figure it out. But I tried to edge this up around here, get some separation, and try to get it looking nice around here. I'm working on it, but as you watch, if you've seen any of my videos, look back and you'll see all the changes, and you'll see how much I have added things out here. I've got some yucca here. I've been getting rid of some of those, giving those away. And then I got more vegetables over here. I got some marigolds. I planted all these from seed. And tomatoes and some cantaloupe and some watermelon around the corner. Another tomato back there in that pot. And I'm ready to kind of get all this stuff inside. But I'm just letting those things grow. My first time growing cantaloupe. First time growing watermelon, but that's on the side over that way. I had a different little setup, but I took it down to put my greenhouse up. I've got some thujas growing here. This is my little discount baby here. I ain't going too far over there in the corner, because where you see all them tall weeds is yellow jackets over there, and I got attacked by about 30 plus of those and stung multiple times, and it was a disaster. I almost did the full Monty out here trying to get away from him. But anyway, this one's struggling, but I'm gonna keep watering him and treat him just like I'm treating the other ones. I ain't gonna treat you no different, baby. You just like the rest of them, you a treat too. But all of these have been doing well. This one has grown quite a bit since I bought it. That one there was shorter than that one when I first got it, and they're all doing good. And I put them here because we had a lot of tree loss, so this was kind of naked, so I decided to just kind of fill it in with those trees, try to eventually make some type of hedge. And got some more stuff to clean up. I had cleaned all of that weed up back there, but I just tried to maintain this side since I was working in that area, and they kind of grew back over here, but I'll get them down. And the cold weather's gonna take them anyway, but I'll take care of that next time. And this is just a look at my yard all the way around. It's becoming what I want it to be. It's just gonna take a little more time, a little more work. Not a little, a whole lot. I wear myself out here trying to get this looking nice. I think I'm gonna put me a grapevine right here. I'm thinking of building a trellis type post with some heavy posts here, right in this area, and growing some grapes right in here. But I'm gonna do that later, not this year. I'm tired. And what else I got going on? Oh, I got plants back here. I call this like my plant hospital. Outside, I use the fence as a trellis for some things. And I got some more yucca in here. I don't know what to do with them yet, so they just in here. Just spare plants and stuff that I just water every once in a while to keep them living. These some of the branches that broke off my green pepper, my banana pepper. Broke a bunch off. It's like 3 big branches in there broke off. And I have some lettuce growing up here. Spinach, more lettuce, and some Georgia collard greens and thyme. I have about 3 different types in there, more lettuce. And that is the video. I'm tired because we've been out here trying to pull that stuff together out there, and that was some work, but it's coming along. And I knew I needed this, and I wasn't gonna wait. So it'll be there. I'll be done by the end of the month, probably covering this first part of October. Hopefully I can cover it sooner than that, but I think I'll be ready once I get everything trimmed up. So that is it, you all. If you happen to like any of my videos and you are interested at all, please subscribe. Please hit the like. If you have any comments, please leave some comments. If I can answer questions, I will. If I can't, then we just have to research it. But anyway, thank you. See y'all later.